Hello, lovelies. Good morning and happy Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday because I'm here doing Midday Missing. See, guys, doing Midday Missing Monday and Wednesday helps me know what day of the week it is. I hope you're all having a great week. I am Teri True Crime, and welcome to Midday Missing, where we highlight current missing person cases that need more attention. Like I just mentioned, we live stream every Monday and Wednesday at noon Central, unless the wonderful llama is streaming a live court on Couch Court. Then we typically stream during the court's lunch break. Excuse me. Or like today, I am streaming before court since their lunch will be late in the day. Now, for those of you that do watch Couch Court with Llama, she will begin streaming Nevada versus Devin Michaels at 12:15 Central. Hello, Angie. Speaking of the beautiful llama, she is here with us. Good morning, llama. Hello, lady in gray and Kelly. Thank you all for popping in. Now, if you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss when we go live or drop a new episode, or you never know what we're doing, okay? Now, if you're listening over on the podcast apps, please download, leave us a review because that helps other people find our show. And it's real important on Midday Missing that we get the word out as far and wide as we can, okay? Now, if you need more of me and Llama, you can always find us doing something on our True Crime and Wine Time YouTube channel, okay? And if you become a member, we have several levels, okay? We have something for everybody. Our first level starts at just 99 cents, okay? Now, as a channel member, you'll get exclusive content, special emojis, happy hours with Llama and me, and more depending on the level, okay? There's a lot of craziness. In fact, this morning, I even did a quick video of me getting dressed and uploaded it. No edits, no nothing. Haven't even done a spell check to see if I spell checked everything right. But if your lovelies are higher, you can see that this morning and hear about my insanity from yesterday. Now, guys, today we've got more heartbreaking cases, okay? First up, we're going to share the story about Theresa Ann Wallace, who was last seen on July 20th, 1990 in Urbana, Illinois. Now, Theresa was born on February 21st, 1946. She stood about 5'3" tall and weighed about 145 pounds at the time of her disappearance. Now, as a teenager, Theresa suffered a traumatic brain injury in a car accident that left her mildly mentally disabled. Okay, now because of that injury, she had short-term memory issues, a poor sense of direction. Okay, that's me, and I don't have a traumatic brain injury, but she also had limited judgment and was known to be overly trusting of people. Okay. On the day she disappeared, Theresa made several phone calls from her apartment on South Learman Avenue. She told someone she planned to go to the library, but guys, nobody can show that she ever made it to the library, okay? Later that evening, her silver 1985 Chrysler LeBaron was spotted at Clark Lindsay Village, which is a retirement home on Windsor Road, where, to the best of everyone's knowledge, Theresa had no known connections. But guy, her car was found, but she was never seen again. Now, when Theresa failed to show up for church services, a member of her congregation at New Life Church grew concerned and they contacted her mother. Now, her mother officially reported her missing on July 24th, 8 days after she was last seen. That's a lot of time, guys. Now, like I said, Theresa's car was found abandoned. Now, inside, there were 3 couch cushions in the back seat, none of which matched any furniture she owned. And they didn't match each other, nor did her family or friends recognize any of them. Now, while investigating, investigators later learned that although Theresa often visited a local furniture store, no couches sold there matched the mysterious cushions. And so far, no one's come forward to see about the cushions. Now, her car was also missing the vast number of religious pamphlets she normally kept in the front compartment, and the steering wheel was tilted higher than she would have needed, suggesting someone else may have been the last to drive it. Yeah, that's interesting. Now, her purse, keys, and personal belongings were not inside, and they have never been found. Now, family members describe Theresa as kind, gentle, and deeply religious, someone who longed for friendship and attention. Sadly, her trusting nature may have made her vulnerable. Her sister shared that Theresa often talked to strangers or babies in strollers, unaware that it made others uncomfortable. Guys, if someone comes up and they just start talking to you, it's okay to just talk to them and be kind. Okay? And I go up and approach all dogs. In fact, I need a shirt that says must pet all dogs. Okay? It's okay. Now, they also said Theresa moved frequently and attended multiple churches. Okay? Now, after she had received a settlement from that car accident, she was known to give money and items away to people she barely knew. I read one article, she gave her car away to somebody who she thought they said they needed a car, so she just gave it to them. So she had a very kind heart. Now, her disappearance added to the family's deep grief. Okay. Guys, the family had already lost a baby girl in a house fire in the 1960s. And they lost a brother named Daniel in a car accident. That's a lot of loss for parents. And then, guys, they lost two more daughters after Theresa vanished. That's a lot of loss in a family, guys. Now, her younger sister says she sometimes thinks she sees Theresa out the corner of her eye, a reminder of the heartbreak and unanswered questions that remains. Guys, this case, it makes me scratch my head. How in the heck did no one see anything? How does a person just disappear without a trace? Okay. I also, and I'm not going to get into all the different churches, she was seeking answers to something. And she did attend some churches that may have some cult like tendencies. And because she had money from that car settlement, it really makes me wonder. Now, Llama, I know is in the chat. Llama, I'm thinking cult and church is involved. What about you? Are you getting any of those vibes? Hmm? I don't know. I don't know, something. Because why would they take all the religious pamphlets? And if she had just changed churches again, maybe the former, I don't know. There's me going down conspiracy things, which I'm normally pretty good about not doing. But guys, someone must have seen something or knows something. The car steering wheel was tilted up and three cushions that can't be explained, and all of the pamphlets were gone and all of her belongings. So somebody out there knows something. So I'm begging you, if you have any information about what happened to Theresa Ann Wallace, please contact the Urbana Police Department at 217-384-2320. Guys, this family deserves answers. They've had a lot of loss. I mean, these parents lost four children and then they've got one missing. Let's share this, okay? They deserve to get some answers, okay? Now, if you know of someone in your area locally that is missing, or if you have a loved one that's missing and you're interested in having their story featured on an upcoming episode, or maybe even join us for a live interview, you can contact Amy, our producer, by emailing Amy at tcwtmedia.com, or you can send us a DM on any of our social media accounts, okay? Any of them. Feel free to reach out to us. Now, guys, on October 4th, 1990, 28-year-old Robin Renea Abrams disappeared from Beecher, Illinois, leaving behind a family desperate for answers and a paper trail of fear, courage, and betrayal. Now, Robin was born on August 13th, 1962, and was described as bright, determined, and compassionate. Now, she stood 5 foot tall, weighed around 170 pounds at the time of her disappearance. Now, Robin was last seen wearing a white knit pullover, black leather jacket, black slacks, black patent leather shoes, and a gold pinky ring. Now, in the early evening of October 4th, Robin and her father crossed paths on Goodnow Road in Beecher. Now, they waved to each other as they passed, okay? A small everyday gesture neither of them could have known would be their last. Later that night, around 10 p.m., witnesses reported seeing 2 men in a tow truck drop off a red 1989 Dodge Daytona hatchback in Harvey, Illinois, which is about 30 miles away. Now, the doors were locked, the keys were still in the ignition, and Robin's camera sat inside, but there was no sign of her. Okay, guys, red flag alert. Okay, who was driving the tow truck? Who called the tow truck? Where did the vehicle get towed from? Because, guys, I'm assuming tow truck drivers keep records. Okay, I looked and I couldn't find anything. I mean, how a tow truck has to have permission to tow a vehicle, right? Unless it's parked in a parking lot where the business is paying for people, somebody's got to know where that truck came from. Maybe the police know and they're just not telling. Maybe they're thinking, Teri, you don't need to know. But I need to know because that's a red flag. Now, guys, at 3 a.m., a neighbor called police to report someone breaking into the car. Now, when investigators arrived, they learned it belonged to Robin. Okay, now 3 days later, her purse was found in a nearby neighborhood. Her wallet was still inside, but all of her credit cards were gone. Still no signs of Robin. Okay, also, who picks up a vehicle as a tow truck and then just drops it at a random place? Normally, they tow a vehicle, it goes to an impound lot. Okay, now, guys, buckle up. Okay, and Teri's going to try to control her ranch just a little bit. Let me get a big drink of water. Because to understand Robin's disappearance, we have to go back to 1987. Okay, that's when she met Anthony Tony Marquez, who was a Will County Sheriff's deputy. Now, she met him when she was working at McDonald's. Now, Marquez encouraged her to join the police department, and by January 1988, Robin was working as a deputy herself. What she didn't know at first was that Tony Marquez was married. Yeah. Now, thankfully, Guy, in today's time, we have tools so we can find out if people are who they say they are. I mean, I suggest running a general Google check and even a background check if you can on a new potential love interest. Guys, I've said this before over in True Crime in One Time. When I first met Double H, I was a single mom. I owned a business. He asked me out. I said, okay. He wanted to pick me up at my house. I was like, you don't need to know where I live. You don't need to know where my kid. Nope, not doing it. And he was like, well, I was raised to pick a girl up at our house. So I said, well, the only way I'm doing that is if you give me your driver's license, copy of it, and your social security number so I can run a full background check. And guess what? I ran a full background check on myself and gave it to him. He let me run one on him. He picked me up at my house. Here we are 23 years later. Now, Tony and Robin's relationship quickly turned toxic. Okay. In October 1988, Marquez allegedly rammed a vehicle while Robin was driving with her mother in the passenger seat. Now, Robin broke off their relationship. Okay. And she later filed a harassment complaint saying Tony Marquez had slashed her tires multiple times. Now, Toni was charged with criminal damage to property, but the case was dismissed for lack of evidence. Okay. Soon after, the sheriff's department terminated Robin's employment just 2 weeks before her probationary period was set to end. Okay, guys, red flag alert again. This is suspicious to me because I can't help but think she was terminated because they took his side because he was the man and he had been a deputy longer. And guys, he was 12 years older than her, I think. Okay. I get I'm in HR. I get you can terminate somebody within a probation area period. No questions asked. Maybe they just didn't want the drama surrounding their relationship. Okay. But guys, then the tables turned. Of course they did. Toni began filing harassment complaints against her, leading to multiple arrests for disorderly conduct and reckless driving. Guys, all of those charges were either dismissed or ended in acquittal. She was found she didn't do it. Now, in November of 1989, Robin obtained an order of protection against Toni Marquez, accusing him of stalking and making false reports. That order was extended through November 27th, 1990. Guys, a month later, in December, Robin filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Toni and 7 members of the Will County Sheriff's Department. She claimed wrongful termination, sexual harassment, and civil rights violations. Guys, she was scheduled to give her deposition on October 22nd, 1990, but she disappeared 18 days before that date. Another red flag alert, guys. Seriously, how did Toni and the other 7 not have all police up in their biz? Okay, this is another one of those not coinky dink things, in my opinions, because I don't believe in coinky dinks. That is sus as hell that she goes missing after filing that federal civil complaint. Conflict of interest, the Illinois State Police took information from the Will County Sheriff's Department. Illinois State Police, I like to give credit where credit is due. Now, finally, Toni Marquez was fired from the department in December 1990. But guys, he has never been charged in connection with Robin's disappearance. Her lawsuit was later dismissed against Toni and all others because Robin could not be located. Guys, this is why I think she went missing, okay? Because she filed suit against them and they knew the gig was up. Now, for years, Robin's case went cold, but her sister, Jody, refused to give up, okay? She contacted reporters, pressured investigators, and she pushed for justice, okay? Now, 2014, a grand jury was convened to review evidence in the case, bringing renewed hope to the family. Sadly, what came from those proceedings were sealed and no charges followed. Now, in 2017, investigators executed a search warrant at a Joliet property tied to one of Toni Marquez's relatives. Now, forensic teams broke open a basement floor that had been freshly poured soon after Robin vanished. Reportedly, it was poured by Toni Marquez's stepbrothers. Guys, there's a whole Reddit rabbit hole you can go down about that. I'll let you go find it. Now, authorities have never disclosed what they found, if anything, okay? They're not saying what was beneath that concrete floor. No arrests were made, and the search kind of ended quietly. Now, for decades, Robin's family has a corruption and cover-up within law enforcement, believing the original investigation was compromised from the start. I'm going to say I agree with them based off of my limited knowledge, because if you see smoke, there's probably flames or a fire or ashes that could ignite at any time. Okay. Now, interesting enough, a retired Will County lieutenant who continued looking into the case long after retirement publicly has criticized how it was handled, calling it a likely homicide that was never treated as one. He went on to say the original investigators were from the same department she accused. Key witnesses were never subpoenaed. Outside forensic offers were declined. And guess what else? Crucial evidence was never properly preserved. Makes me wonder if they used red Solo cups and the grocery store garbage bag. Kind of like the Commonwealth. I don't know. Now, Robin's family has carried the burden of not knowing for more than 3 decades. They remember her as intelligent, driven, and kind. And she was a young woman who dreamed of attending law school and building a better future. Guys, those dreams ended the night she vanished. Something else scary. Before she disappeared, Robin told her family, if anything ever happens to me, look at Tony. Guys, that is her saying, check this dude out. I mean, this is haunting me and it pisses me off. Just that statement alone should have given Tony a one-way ticket to a law enforcement colonoscopy, in my opinion. They should have been all up in his biz. Because remind you, she also found out he was married, which he had lied about. Okay? I'm not saying just because you're a cheater, you're a killer. I'm not. But I'm saying if there is that much harassment, she got a protective order and it was extended. So she must have had enough evidence for them to agree. Once again, I know people have the right not to incriminate themselves, but seriously, okay? Now, it's been more than 30 years, okay? Her words still echo as loudly as the silence that followed her disappearance. I'm asking you if you know any information, if you heard rumors, okay, about the disappearance of Robin Renea Abrams, please contact the Illinois State Police at 815-226-6291. And if you happen to be related to Tony Marquez or friends with him or former wife, former girlfriend, reach out to me. I would love to know your thoughts on Tony because it is sus as hell. Why was he fired? Employment records are sealed. Can't find out. I need to know. And if it's similar to the case like Bianca in San Antonio, where police have told her family, we know her husband probably killed her, but until we have her body, we're not doing anything. If it's something like that, shame on you. Okay, shame on you. No body cases are won all the time. It's no longer as hard as it used to be. So do the right thing. If you know something, please tell. Okay. Now, I also want to remind you that you can join our Facebook group if you want, Midday Missing. We post all of our missing person posters there, as well as share other posters. But guess what? We now are posting the missing person posters on Teri True Crime on all of my different social media accounts because so many of you reached out and you're like, hey, I don't do the book face. So it is so important to me that we get these stories out for these families. Okay. Now, if you didn't know, you can follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay connected and be a part of the conversation. Okay. You can catch all of our shows on YouTube. A lot of them you can see on Facebook. Like today, for some reason, I got a message saying this is not streaming on Facebook, but yet I just saw Sam comment that she's on Facebook. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it says it wasn't streaming. Glad to know it is. But guys, we release a lot of fun content. We do a lot of updates. And if you follow me, Teri True Crime, I'm always doing something crazy. I'm really paying attention to the TikTok lately. And tonight, when I'm sleeping out in the hammock, I do plan to go live on TikTok. I don't know what time, but I just thought I would go live as I'm hanging out. Okay. So follow us there if you want some more fun. Now, guys, if you're new here, our main show, True Crime and Wine Time, we stream every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Texas Sam Time, also known as Central. This is where we offer weekly deep dives into shocking true crime cases, perfectly paired with wine or something cold to drink. To my knowledge, we've only had one completely sober True Crime and Wine Time episode. I don't think that'll be happening again. And definitely not this week, because this week we are covering the case of Thanksgiving tragedy and what happened to the Skelton boys. If you don't know anything about this case, it's awful, but it does need to be told so you can catch us there. Okay. Now, for those of you that are channels at the loveliest level or higher, the wait is over. Starting this Friday, November 7th, Dearest Mother's Darkest Secret returns. But guess what, guys? You're getting an exclusive first look. What do I mean about that? For the first time ever, if you're at Lovely's or higher, you're going to get access to the behind the scenes recording sessions. This is going to be the raw, emotional, unfiltered. So you're going to witness the real process behind each story as I dive deep into the cases that test boundaries of love, faith, and madness. And guys, these are not the polished public episodes, okay? These are the intimate, vulnerable moments where storytelling meets heartbreak and truth meets silence. Okay, begins this Friday. Guys, these will not be edited and done and made polished. It will premiere in spring of 2026. Okay, so become a lovely or higher now and become part of the story because, guys, some secrets are just too dark to wait. Okay, now I want to thank you all for joining me today. I do appreciate it. Most importantly, until next time, do me a favor, guys. Okay, first, be sure to go watch Couch Court with Llama that will start streaming at 12:15 today. Okay, brand new trial. The community chat is worth it. Even if you don't like to live stream trials, the chat community makes it all worth it. So, other than that, guys, please stay safe, stay aware. If you see something, say something, and let's help bring these missing homes for their families. Bye, guys.